fate. The A's did not fare well versus the AL West teams earlier in the year, but this is a new team playing with confidence. Has all the tools to go head-to-head with the American League elite. The first division test will be on the road as the A's travel to Anaheim to take on the always tough Angels. A's and Angels, game 1 of 3, next. Well, it's a quick trip to Southern California for the Athletics, a 3-game set. It's the A's and the Angels coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. 47 games left for the Athletics in this regular season. 31 of those games against AL West opponents, Ray. So tonight really starts an important stretch against the division. That's who's coming up the next 4 series, and you see on the right the A's record against those teams from the West.
You know, I think you can discount what's happening.
Tengo a Alti Moreno y thank you for the people here. I got for me in Anaheim. For the people over there, I got thank you for support and me here. I got play every day over there, and
In the year, but this is a new team playing with confidence. Has all the tools to go head-to-head with the American League elite. The first division test will be on the road as the A's travel to Anaheim to take on the always tough Angels. A's and Angels, game 1 of 3, next. Well, it's a quick trip to Southern California for the Athletics, a 3-game set. It's the A's and the Angels coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. 47 games left for the Athletics in this regular season. 31 of those games against AL West opponents, Ray. So tonight really starts an important stretch against the division. That's who's coming up the next 4 series, and you see on the right the A's record against those teams from the West.
And, I think you can discount what's happening before, because right now the A's are playing much better. I think it started against the Angels, as we have discussed, in the middle part of June when they took 2 or 3 against the Angels and then went from there on to Houston, played well against them. They played well against a lot of those teams since the beginning or the middle part of June. So I think you can discount that, know that right now the A's control their own destiny.
All right, another day, another new pitcher for the A's pitching staff. For more on that, let's head downstairs to Dallas Braden. Dallas, who's the new guy?
Fernando Rodney, and I'm a big fan of the way this man wears his hat, but I'm an even bigger fan of the veteran presence and experience this man brings to the table. We got a lot of attractive numbers here. I want you to take your eyes to the bottom of that screen. 325 career saves. That right there is very, very key. You talk about postseason push, playoff games, the last 3 outs of a ball game, very important. The last 6 to 9 outs of a ball game, extremely important. Heightened sense of awareness. 325 times over the course of his career, he has locked it down for a ball club. Very, very important added experience here for the Oakland A's.
All right, we like him because at the end of his session with the media day, he said, go A's. So, hey, he's right where he wants to be. All right, now, the A's will send the left-hander Brett Anderson to the mound tonight. In the first of a 3-game series, it's the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. We'll have lineups at first pitch right after this.
through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different, like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls. Only at Jack in the Box for a limited time.
Well, welcome back to Angels Stadium of Anaheim on a beautiful Friday night here in Southern California. A very nice pregame ceremony honoring the newest Hall of Famer, Vladimir Guerrero, of course, who spent 6 very productive seasons right here with the Angels.
Yep.
So,
best bad ball hitter in baseball.
all right, here's the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. Warm day, 86 degrees, first pitch, and just a very, very light breeze. Not much of anything at all as the umpires hanging out at home plate. Looks like they may still be waiting for the lineup cards as the Angels have yet to take the field. So a quick road trip, just one stop right here in Anaheim for the Athletics. So the Angels will wear the red tops tonight. The A's will wear the green tops. Nice crowd tonight. Angels drawing well as always. As the Angels take the field as we are just moments away from game 1 of this 3-game series. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Athletics, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Nick Martini will lead off in left field. Matt Chapman will be at third. Jed Lowry's at second. And the big slugger Chris Davis will DH. Matt Olson, Stephen Piscotty, Mark Canha, Marcus Semien, and Jonathan Lucroy round out the Oakland A's starting lineup.
And the A's will see Felix Pena the second time this year, but the first time in the starting rotation. He did see the A's back in early April in just a 1-inning pitching affair. The Shohei Ohtani start, his first start, but young man's got a good fastball. Doesn't everybody? Mid-90s, but in the rotation now due to many, many injuries to the Angels rotation. So Pena getting the start tonight, his 9th of this campaign.
And defensively for the Angels, they will have Upton in left, Eric Young in center, and Cole Calhoun in right. Caleb Cowart, Andrelton Simmons on the left side, David Fletcher, Jeffrey Marte on the right side, and Jose Briseño. Jose Briseño is the catcher. So no Mike Trout. In fact, the Angels placed him on the disabled list today. He's been bothered by a right wrist injury. Actually, they thought he may play tonight, but they decided, you know what, let's put him on the DL, and he'll be out until the middle of next week.
Yeah, retro back to, they could have gone to the first, decided to go to the 6th, and as a result, he will not be eligible until the 16th, which will miss this series. Mike Scioscia has had a lot of injuries as he is in his 19th season managing this Angels ball club and Angels Club World Championship 2002. But other than that, just a lot of injuries this year, a lot of expectations, high expectations for the Angels, but you start losing various people and then trading some of those guys late because you're out of it. Just been a tough year for him.
So here's Nick Martini, and Felix Pena's first pitch is right in there for a strike. So we're underway from the Big A here in Anaheim. A's coming in with a 68-47 record. You know the drill. 4.5 games out in the American League West. Umpires for tonight: Chris Siegel is the home plate umpire. Eric Cooper is the crew chief. He's at first. Stu Shearwater and Corey Blazer rounded out. One hit right toward Upton in left, and that is out number 1. So Martini is retired. Well, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity. It's the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. So 1 away. Here's Matt Chapman.
Showed in our open the 4 teams in the Western Division and the number of games remaining, bookend by the Angels and the Rangers with the Mariners and the Astros in between. But man, you cannot take anybody lightly. There's one thing about Mike Scioscia and the team that he puts on the field: they will play hard, just like day 1 of spring training all the way through the season. Same for the Rangers when they face them.
So 2-0 the count to Chapman. There's Mike Scioscia.
Ask Alfredo Griffin about Mike Scioscia. Of course, the word coming out that this would be his last year, and Alfredo Griffin's been with him for 19 years here and was with him with the Dodgers, and he said nope. He said the last thing Mike Scioscia is going to do is walk away. He's not ready to retire. There's Alfredo Griffin, first base coach, long time for Mike Scioscia.
This is a staff that's been together for a while. Dino Ebel as well.
Yeah. Well, and what has happened, guys like Bud Black, for example, Joe Madden, Alfredo Griffin, 85 Gold Glove with the A's. But, you know, if they've gone on other places, it's to either manage or pitching coaches someplace else, but mostly managing in case of Bud Black and Joe Madden. Ron Renicky went on to manage.
That one's hit pretty well, right center field. Young is going to turn around, and that baby's gone. 1-0 Athletics.
Well, the cheers you hear, probably the parents and the grandmother of Matt Chapman. The high fastball, and he just tomahawked it to right center. Tremendous power by this young man. You see his defensive ability, but his power. And when you go opposite field the way he did on this one, they're shading him that way, but Eric Young Jr. no chance up in the seats. And the home run, that's the second he's given up the Athletics. The other guy is still on the disabled list, and Matt Joyce.
So here's Lowry. He takes a strike. So home run number 16 for Matt Chapman. The third home run he's hit against the Angels this year.
Well, his
now
mom,
reached base 24 straight games.
Amazing. Mom and dad here, and his grandmother, and a lot of friends, and of course grew up in the area, not far away. And the Chapman Avenue is not his. It runs outside the hotel, but said he would like to own it, but it's not the case. But good young player.
Lowry lines one to right field, and that's a base hit. So Lowry's aboard, and here's Chris Davis.
This is a guy you'd like to see start to get it going again. Jed Lowry, top of the lineup. Gets him an off-speed pitch away. He's able to get around it and hook it into right field. Jed, such an important part of this offense. You know what he means to the lineup when he's hot. Both sides of the plate, doesn't matter. Provides run-scoring opportunities for the big boppers behind him.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company. And here's Davis. Davis, a mighty swing and a miss.
It's interesting, Cut, that Matt Chapman's dad was talking about the opposite field power by this Chris Davis at the plate, and his son just hits one to right center. So quite a compliment for Chris Davis, who we've been able to see hit a lot to center field and right field. And Matt Chapman does it on a 2-2 fastball. Wow.
And that one's hit high and deep to center. Young going back again. Young at the wall. Young leaps, and that baby's gone. 3-0 A's in the first.
Tell you, Cap, when he left his bat, I didn't think there was any doubt. Yet Young went back and jumped, but Chris Davis center field. So Matt Chapman to right center, base hit by Jed Lowry, and then Chris Davis takes this breaking ball hanger. There's your hanger at 82, straightaway center, and Chris Davis, the mighty swing, and a ball that just kept going. And I'm surprised that Eric Young even had an attempt to go after it, but over his glove, no chance, and he's with an early 3-0 lead.
So home run number 33 for Davis. He now has 90 RBIs.
Did you see the smile from Bob Melvin?
Yeah.
It's rare. 100th long ball on the road for the A's.
Overall, the A's now with 156 home runs. So good start to the series. Couple of home runs in the very first inning.
Brett Anderson pitched his last start. A's didn't score a run until the 13th inning.
That's right.
And he started the night before. He takes them out. He's got at least 3.
Wilson skies one toward left field. Upton in and over to his left, and he makes the catch. So 2 outs. And Piscotty will hit.
Amazing. The 2 lefties in this lineup. Fly balls to left field. Brett Anderson waiting to take the mound for his 10th start, and loves the offensive support. Every pitcher loves that before he takes the mound.
First pitch to Piscotty. Well, curveball drops in for a strike. Piscotty at 253. He's got 15 home runs and 52 runs batted in. Facing Felix Pena. That one's hit well to center, but this is going to stay in the ballpark. Young grabs it. Side retired. A's hit a couple of home runs. A solo shot by Matt Chapman, his 16th, and a 2-run homer by Chris Davis, his 33rd of the year. Half inning. A's leading 3-0. First, and Cole Calhoun gets set to step in the box against the A's starter tonight, the left-hander Brett Anderson. So a couple of early home runs. So we'll see how Brett Anderson handles the early Christmas present. First pitch is a strike to Cole Calhoun.
You know, they had Christmas in Anaheim a couple of weeks ago.
That's true. He's had it in the first inning.
About 110 degrees, and they're thinking 6 months before Christmas. Well, I hope it cools down by the 25th.
And a quick 0-2 to Cole Calhoun. We'll give you the rest of the Angels lineup in just a moment.
Brett Anderson was outstanding. His start against the Tigers on the 3rd of August, which would have been a week ago tonight. Gets the extra start, or the extra days, with Mike Fire starting on Wednesday against the Dodgers. Okay, when Brett Anderson started last Friday, man, I looked at my watch and I didn't say anything. 8:45, 7th inning.
I know.
Wow.
We were sitting on 150.
Yeah.
They tried.
Yeah, they did try.
And 6 innings later, but he was dealing, man. He had a great start.
Just a bit foul down the first base line to keep the count 0-2. Here's the Angels lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You see Calhoun, then it's Fletcher, Upton, Pujols, Simmons, Marte, Briseño, Cowart, and Young. Cole Calhoun hitting .214 with 15 home runs. Takes that slider down and away.
Well, you can see the approach from Brett Anderson and Lucroy. A lot of fastballs here in the AB against Calhoun. That's the first breaking ball we've seen. Doubled up a couple times on the 0-2 heaters. Calhoun, a guy who struggled early on in the season, has made some adjustments as the seasons wore on.
Yeah, Calhoun off to a There's Mike Trout, who's on the disabled list. The numbers 309 with 30 home runs for Trout.
Strange to see facial hair on Mike Trout. He's usually clean shaven all the way around.
Swing and a miss. Calhoun strikes out.
Stay with the breaking balls. Brett Anderson, 7 innings in his last start against the Tigers. We mentioned just 74 pitches in that start. Got a no decision. Did a great job though, just giving up a couple of hits. Had 12 ground ball outs in that game, that start. So a 2-3 record, but working quickly, efficiently, and doing it.
He is a quick worker. Does not mess around. First pitch, a strike to David Fletcher. Fletcher getting a chance to play quite a bit. Ian Kinsler traded not long ago. Fletcher hits a little pop-up, shallow left center. It's going to be Simeon who grabs it.
Canada didn't see it.
So 2 away. Let's take a look at the A's defense tonight. That defense has Martini, Canna, and Piscotti in the outfield. Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, and Olsen on the infield, and Jonathan Lucroy is doing the catching.
Been a lot of balls that have been hit kind of in between. And Marcus Simeon fortunately caught that one because Mark Canna, I don't think ever saw it. Remember Darren Erstad played center field here a game and he had to go, he couldn't see anything. He had to go to those skiing glasses that you could, kind of the yellowish glasses, so he could pick up the ball. But it must be something about the sky. But Marcus Simeon, a good play on the ball hit by Fletcher.
Yeah, I guess if you think about it, every stadium has a different combination of what the sky is like in that area, what the lights are like, how high is the upper deck, and there's a lot of different reasons.
You know,
But most time it's time of day, right?
Exactly, the twilight. But you know, something else to factor in: the smoke in the area, the fires.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we talked about it in the Northern California area, but a lot of fires in this area as well. Matter of fact, I was talking to Matt Chapman's father. He said Matt did not go home because the fires are close enough, and his dad said the air quality was horrible.
Wow.
And so he said, just stay at the hotel. So it's that bad in this area. And we talked about up in north, hope and pray that folks down here, because man, with everything so dry and the winds, especially in this area, can be devastating.
2-2 the count to Justin Upton. A little bit high, and now full count. Upton 23 home runs, 65 RBIs, and a .255 batting average. Upton with 13 doubles to go along with his 23 home runs. Drives this one down the right field line, hustling over his Piscotti, and he's not going to get it, and it's foul.
One thing I like so far in this game, Brett Anderson, the A's get a 3-0 lead, but really can see, and even though he's 2-2 with a couple of foul balls, to Calhoun gets a 2-pitch at bat to Fletcher, and you know, he's just not throwing just fastballs, because I think as a veteran pitcher and catcher, you realize that you get a 3-run lead, you want to keep it at a 0 and not just give in to the hitters all the time. He may now 3-2. He does have Albert Pujols in the on-deck circle, and this part of the batting order is very tough to face at any time. Fastball in.
Hit hard up the middle, but Simeon ranging to his left, scoops it up, throws to first, and Brett Anderson with a 3-up, 3-down inning. 3-0 A's after 1.
Test drive one today.
That's out front, the Big A, by the Hats. Meet us by the Hats. Two giant hats that kind of serve as a cover or shade out in front of the main entrance to the Big A. 3-0 A's lead, top of the second inning. And it'll be Canna, Simeon, and Lucroy, the bottom three for the A's.
According to the commercial that was done by Buster Posey, maybe he's thinking his manager's hat's out there.
You said it, I didn't.
Oh, I know it. Bruce Bochy knows he's got one. Kevin Minch also had a big one. Guys would always say, hey, your hat's out in the courtyard in front of the Angel Stadium.
Kevin Minch.
Yeah.
I think Boch is the only guy in baseball who had to have his bobblehead size reduced.
You know, they said Yu Darvish, we've been talking to Rawlings representative. They're coming out with the helmets for the different types of helmets. That Yu Darvish had a big board. So Jim Hughes, who is with Rawlings Sporting Goods.
Canna, another foul ball.
But you know what? Boch's got a lot of information in that head.
So we're going to show you the injury to Mike Trout
Yeah.
just a moment here and show you why he is on the disabled list.
Well, it's got to be hard for him to have to sit on the bench.
Doesn't
Not
happen
be able
a
to
lot.
play.
Well, he is among a list of a whole bunch of players that are hurt for the Angels. Check this out. Chris Young, but then the pitchers. Zach Cozart was off to a great start, but the pitchers. Look at all the pitchers. Richards, Shoemaker, Ramirez.
Well, they came into Oakland, had 15 on the DL. Tonight, I think they have 14.
But of course, the main guy,
Yep.
as always, is Trout. This was August 1st, and this is how he got hurt. It was his right wrist, so it's that back wrist on the slide, not the wrist that's he's sort of got bundled up in that glove, but it was his right wrist. That was it. That does happen a fair amount when a guy slides feet first.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's a hard slide with your backside, it also becomes a hard slide with your hand because
Exactly.
you kind of jam your hand into the ground.
You got to think Mike Trout is essentially a linebacker playing center field. That's 240 pounds of solid muscle coming down, impacted on his wrist right there in the very back. Tough load to carry.
Hooked foul.
A lot made also during the All-Star game about maybe the best player in the game, but something that just happened. He just started 27 on Tuesday. What an old guy. 27. What does he do on his birthday? He goes to Children's Hospital. No fanfare. He just with some other guys. Children's Hospital.
That's awesome.
I mean, giving up his birthday. You see the wedding band promptly on his left hand. He just got married in the off season. But it's one thing for guys to go out and do things publicly and everybody knows about it, but there's a lot of things done by certain players that they don't want the attention. And I mean, it's done. They don't want the fanfare. They don't want the cameras there and making a big deal out of it. They just do it. And I think Mike Trout is in that category based on what we have been told and how he represents the Angels and himself, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you could start digging to find something wrong with Mike Trout if you want. But you better have a lot of time on your hands.
That's right.
That one's hit pretty well to center, but there's room out there. So Felix Pena, the starter for the Angels, bounces back. He has a 3-up, 3-down, top of the second inning.
That's transparency.
Well, there's one way to get to the ball game. Take the Metrolink. 3-0 the A's lead. Couple of home runs in the first inning, one by Chapman, one by Chris Davis. And that is why the score is 3-0. Brett Anderson goes back to work facing Pujols, Simmons, and Marte here in the second. The Mariners are leading the Astros 5-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning in Houston. In fact, they're 1 out away from beating the Astros for the second straight night. So we'll let you know some of the goodies from that game when it goes final. The Mariners won last night in Houston 8-6. So maybe a confidence boosting series for the Mariners. We'll see.
Absolutely.
That's the second game of a 4-game series. Astros did get Carlos Correa back tonight. He was in the lineup. Of course, he missed a lot of time with that lower back injury. Correa missed 36 games, but back in there tonight. But the Astros still without Altuve and Springer.
Good point.
Hit hard in the hole. Backhanded nicely. Simeon's throw in time. 1 out. Picked it clean, Dallas.
We sure did, and it's a beautiful job by Marcus Semien. Two things. One, he picks it clean with that short hop here, right there. You know, he gathers himself and he takes his time. He understands the base runner, Albert Pujols, not the most fleet of foot individual on the diamond going these days. Marcus Semien comes up with a clean, nice, strong throw across the diamond.
So 1 out. Here's Andrelton Simmons. First pitch is low. Actually, it's a strike at the knee, excuse me. 317 assists for Marcus Semien, so he's got a lot of action this year.
And I think he's taking a lot of pride in the fact he's on the left side with a pretty good third baseman, and on the right side, Jed Lowry and Matt Olson playing extremely well. So a very good defensive infield. I think all those guys take a lot of pride in the way they can play defense.
Tough hop there, and it scoots past Matt Chapman into left field.
Yeah, that's a play. I think he could have stayed back.
Yep.
Caught the ball with his arm strength. That he has a lot of time has made this play where he's charged it and caught the short hop, but you know, a couple of steps back when you have the arm strength that he does, give him an error. But that is a play that probably, in hindsight, if he backs up, he might be able to catch it with a good hop and still throw out Simmons because of a very, very strong arm.
So indeed, it is an E5. Yeah, and you don't see Matt Chapman make a lot of defensive mistakes.
Yeah.
But it looked like that time he charged it into an in-between hop.
Yeah,
and you'd hardly
play.
ever see him do that.
Yeah. And you know, if he didn't have the arm strength and he had to charge because of not being able to, but he does. I mean, we've seen bullets across the diamond, and even with the great speed of Simmons, still probably had enough time.
And usually when a third baseman charges like that, he gets it on a nice hop, or he gets it on a short hop.
Yeah, I think that's you make a great point because he turned it into a difficult hop.
And I don't know that we've seen him do that this year. One and one to Jeffrey Marte. Marte fouled down the right field line. See right there. See, that's that in-between hop, which is a difficult play.
And if he had that hop basically chest high, and he takes a couple of steps back, then he's got it still at chest high, but set himself up behind the play to make it across the diamond.
A little bit low, but not by much.
We got a good little game going on over here at first base between Brett Anderson and Andrelton Simmons, aka Simba. A couple jab steps trying to deke Brett. Brett's done a good job of varying his looks and timing. Up and hold, quick delivery.
Just foul. Simmons He'll run a little bit. He's got 7 steals.
There's certain things runners will do over at first base. Maybe deke or fake an early break to see if you're a predetermined lefty. Meaning they'll take off, you'll deliver home. They understand you're not a reader. You're not reading to see if you're going to throw over, if you see them move or jab.
Chapman, another opportunity. Fires to second for one. Nice turn by Lowry. Got him. 5-4-3 double play. Nicely done by the Athletics.
The boot. He does that by going to his left. Nice little feed to Jet Lowry. Cross section backed off the bag to avoid any slide. And this was not an easy hop that he turned into a nice play with a 5-4-3 double play. Simmons going in hard at second base, but a good relay, good stretch. Matt Olson to turn 2, and you have Brett Anderson 4 ground ball outs already in the first 2 innings. That's special.
So Nick Martini, the leadoff man, steps up. 1-0 the count. Martini in a line drive to Upton and left.
Because Mr. Pena had 5 fly ball outs, and that's not good. If you have a tendency to give fly balls or have hitters hit fly balls, which can be the case already in this game, 2 have left the yard.
Martini checked his swing and he actually made contact. Well, that was a strange ball. Looked like I think he actually did check his swing, but he made contact, if that's possible.
There's a little Vlad Guerrero action here. This ball actually bounced. This ball hits the ground. Martini checks.
Okay.
And then actually makes contact with the pitch. That's a live ball, folks.
I knew it looked different. Something was different about that ball.
The only difference about Vlad and Martini, Vlad's is a base hitter, not a home run.
Line drive.
Someplace. Like I said, I mean, amazing thing watching Vladimir Guerrero pitch him in high and tight. Well, they did all the time.
Chapman drives one left center field, and that's going to be off the wall, and Matt Chapman's going to ease into second with a double. So Captain America's swinging a hot stick early.
Well, the home run to right center. This ball just kept carrying, and of course they were shading him a little bit to right center because had pretty good hang time. That ball pitching on the inner part of the plate. Look where the center fielder is playing young and just had a long way to go. Could not get to it. And that's why sometimes you shift based on what scouting reports say. And the old straight up, sometimes it can work to your benefit. So half of the cycle out of the way for Matt Chapman. His speed, he has a chance for a triple.
So see if Lowry can get him in. Lowry had a line drive base hit in the first and then scored on the home run. This one's hit toward left, toward the corner. And Upton makes the catch. Chapman tags Bluffs going to third, but he stays at second, 2-1.
Well, the only reason a base runner will go back to the bag is if he thinks the ball is going to be caught, and especially with 2 outs or 1 out. And he sees Upton under the ball, goes back and starts. Good idea. You can start. You can always go back to the bag, and he does once the ball comes in strongly from Upton.
So Chris Davis, chance to knock in a run.
Take you back to the blast in the first from KD. It's cement mixer up, and it doesn't matter what yard, doesn't matter what time of day, what direction. KD's jumping ship out to dead central.
Davis now with 12 home runs since the All-Star break.
Well, the StatCast, as always, it's powered by AWS. And how about this? StatCast A1 and 103 off the bat, 34 degrees, and only 398, just over the fence. Great Hall of Fame video with the induction of Vladimir Guerrero. Hank Aaron just said front row. Just let it go front row. Don't have to show any huge deep part.
StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Got some power. Chris Davis is unbelievable with the power.
Chapman's going to try for third, and he'll make it. It'll be a wild pitch. So this is the leaderboard I was talking about. Matt Carpenter.
How about that?
Homer tonight, so he jumps back ahead. So Carpenter and Davis have both homered tonight. So Carpenter 13, Davis 12. That's home runs since the All-Star break. Chris Davis does lead the major leagues in RBIs since the All-Star break, 26.
3-0 hits. Oh,
not that time, man. I think it hit him,
yeah.
And it did.
Well, you could hear it here, just a little tip of the jersey there. Might have caught the patch, might have caught the elephant. You can see it. No need for ice, just a thread.
Who needs ice?
Charles Nagy, pitching coach.
So Olsen with a chance to knock in a run. 2 on, 2 out. It's a good pitch there by Felix Pena.
A lot of times
slider.
we talk about the opposite field. In this case, left fielder Upton playing somewhat shallow because of left-handed hitter. Always got power, and he's playing very shallow considering. And I guess maybe he figures that he'd rather take away the ball in front, and let the one over his head go.
Olsen hit a fly ball to left field in the first inning. Outfield shifted toward left center. Infield has Olsen to pull. Fletcher well out into shallow right field. See Simmons right behind second base. Swing and a miss. A little movement away from Olsen.
Pena with the fastball away, just kept running away from it. Elevated. That's a pitch that Matt Olsen could take the opposite field. Again, a pitcher that faced the A's just one inning back on April the 8th at the Coliseum. A long time. A time when the Angels thought they were going to be where the A's are right now.
Yep. High hopes. Olsen tried to hold up, couldn't do it. So the A's strand a pair. We're headed to the bottom of the third. A's leading the Angels 3-0. Days in your X1 voice remote to get live stats in your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. There's the big A, and it is the big A. Used to be the scoreboard, right?
That's
Out in
right.
left center field.
That's right.
Long time ago.
That's when there was wind blowing in hard from that area. You
It
crush
was
the
wide
ball
open,
and-
right?
Oh, you crush it and then start running. I got a double. Next thing you're making a U-turn back to dugout. Yeah, that was there. It was shining brightly.
Now it's out in the parking lot. The big A. Two 2-0 the count. This is Jose Briceño. Our first look at the catcher. Of course, Martin Maldonado also traded. And there's a line drive right center field, a base hit. Canna hustles over to cut it off, and Briceño has a leadoff single. All right, here's our Wells Fargo look ahead. Let's check out the season series between the A's and the Angels so far. It's the Angels who lead the season series 6-4. Now these are all updated numbers. Runs, they've outscored the A's. Unearned runs allowed, that's interesting. So the A's have struggled a little bit defensively.
Yep.
Pretty close on the home runs hit. And I think something you have to remember when you look at those numbers, Ray, is a lot of those games were played very early in the season. Canna hustling back. Canna near the warning track makes the catch. So Caleb Coward hits it hard into the glove of Canna.
Well,
A's.
the big game here, Captain. The Angels go 5 in the 8th inning. Remember that game? The A's had a lead, I think 13 to something, and the A's had a lead, and the Angels came back and won it. But you're right, and you know the A's didn't play that well, and that's the reason. Talking to Terry Smith, Mark Langston, Mark Gubicza, I know you talked to him, and Victor Rojas, and they said, wait a minute, you know, the early part of the season, A's were looking up at the Angels, and now it's just reversed. And those games that you mentioned were games that were played early in the season that the A's just didn't play that great.
Well, these two teams played 7 for the A's. 7 of their first 11 games this year were against the Angels.
Started the season with 4 against them.
Yep. And then our first road game was here.
That's right.
So we haven't seen the Angels in quite a while, and quite a few games played early on.
Cap, I know you remember the Saturday afternoon game at the Coliseum.
That was the start.
And it was one of those that.
That's when the season started, right?
Well, yeah.
Opening day was June 16th. We decided that.
That's right. That's a great point. Because that Saturday game, although it didn't show up in the air column, there were a lot of miscues in that game. That A's did not play that great of baseball. And thanks to the comeback win on opening day, A's at least started the season on the official March opener.
Eric Young strikes out.
Get a breaking ball here from the lefty Brett Anderson against the righty EYJ Eric Young Jr. Little backdoor slider action. I think EY might have been looking for a fastball, did not get it. Was fooled by the wrinkle.
Pretty good numbers for Brett Anderson in his last 5 starts. 2-1 with a 2.96 ERA. In fact, his last 3 starts, 6 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings.
Well, he's also started using his changeup a lot more. And I think that's paid dividends just by way of getting guys off of the fastball. He's been able to throw strikes with it at times. And
high and deep, and trouble, and gone. So the hot-hitting Cole Calhoun gets the Angels right back in it. It's now 3-2.
Well, talked about a new stance, a different stance, and since coming off the disabled list, he went to Arizona to clear his mind. Well, he hits a hanging curveball. That was a no-doubter. Launch angle, he's got it. He's got everything working for him, and that's a big one, lefty on lefty. And of course, Cole Calhoun was at his best. And of course, he's at his best right now, but he played against lefties, righties, hit home runs against both. It just showed that if you hang a curveball to him, he can do it.
15 home runs since June 18th. Little flare, and that's going to fall. David Fletcher has a blue pit. So 3 hits in the inning for the Angels off Brett Anderson.
the tough part's when you execute and you just got to tip your cap. Broken bat here. He does a good job of getting it in. Apparently not enough. He's able to fight it off. Is Fletcher just out of the outstretched arm of Marcus Semien.
So Upton will hit with 2 outs. Check this out, Ray. Last home run allowed by Brett Anderson to a left-handed hitter, Josh Reddick. And that was in 2015. Anderson was pitching for the Dodgers.
Well, you hang a curveball like he just hung.
Yeah, they're going to hit it, man.
There should be something wrong with the left hand if he doesn't hit it. 77, ball stayed up, especially against a hot hitter in Cole Calhoun.
Quick throw to first.
I think Eric Hensky, hitting coach, said it best that before Calhoun was upright trying to do things that he's doing now in a crouch. And he was upright, had to go to the crouch. But now starts there and gets the uppercut, or at least the launch angle.
Well, you know what?
Doesn't miss him.
Our good friend Dallas Braden has done a little research on Cole Calhoun. We'll get to that at some point tonight. Dallas, he's a different hitter, huh?
A little bit. I mean, but that's part of what happens at the big league level is you're constantly tinkering, constantly trying to get better. The game of baseball lends itself to a mind that wants to study and is constantly looking to try to take their game to the next level. Cole Calhoun, one of those guys.
That was a hanger. Brett Anderson, do not throw that one again to Upton. Is this considered a hanger?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put a sport coat on that bad boy.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I described it correctly.
Well, fortunately, it's 2 strikes. But usually A guy like Upton can hit it even though he has 2 strikes on it. Upton's very good at sitting on pitches. We saw him with Andrew Triggs early in the season. The way he took a fastball and then hit a slider. I think he was looking for it. He got it and he hit it for a home run. But you know, it's just certain hitters will do that. Fortunately, with 2 strikes, he evidently was not looking for a hanging curve.
A little bit high with the fastball. Tapped slowly. Simeon charges. Throws. Got him. Upton stops immediately. Spins around. Eric Cooper, the first base umpire, made the out call. Bang, bang.
And he's short. Took a little quick short step to the bag with a throw high.
Whew.
But the good thing is he was called out. That's a good thing.
Well, you could see his foot touch the very front of the bag, but I guess they are going to look at it.
Well, if anything, they'll look at is the ball in the back of the glove. We always said about the first baseman's mitt. That's Andrew Bailey, Vito Bailey, who is doing the video coordinating for the Angels. He's one of them.
Well, and after the second replay popped up on the big screen, a couple of the defenders for the Oakland A's started heading back to their positions. Lucroy made his way back to behind the dish.
I don't know that he's not clear.
It's not a
It's
clear
not clear,
safe,
no.
I don't think.
You know, they're going to slow it down on their Jumbotron, but we just saw it here. And if it's the old definitive, that's what we've been reading lately with the calls on the challenges.
We think this may be our best look. And again, they may have more looks in New York.
Also stretches nice and check the ball going in the glove. That would be the only thing, that the ball hit to the back of the first baseman's mitt.
And as far as the teaching moment is concerned, a beautiful job by Upton to hit the very front of the bag.
Yeah. I still don't think it's definitive. Because the heel went down, then the foot hit the front of the bag. But challenge and a good one.
So it goes as a hit. 2 on, 2 out for Albert Pujols. Upton is a big guy, but he runs very well, especially coming out of the right-handed hitter's batter's box.
Just another overturned call.
Yeah. First pitch to Pujols is low.
And all of a sudden, now, unlike the first inning when Pujols was up, or the second inning when he let off, there were 3 to the left side. Nice play by Simeon, but now with runners at first and second, Jed Lowry to the first base side of second, which is not a bad idea, because you shift him and open up the right side, Pujols will take a ball to right field. It's called an RBI machine.
Takes that one first strike. So Fletcher at second, Upton at first.
He's always been one of the guys that I have mentioned when I talk about professional approaches, big time power guys being able to cut their swing down and take what's given to them. Him, Miguel Cabrera, 2 of the best from the right side.
Very high to left field. Martini back. Martini's got it. So 2-run homer by Cole Calhoun. It's a 3-2 game after 3.
TV to take advantage of this special offer.
3-2, A's lead the Angels, top of the 4th inning, high above the big A, Angels Stadium of Anaheim.
And it's time for the A's to kick their offense back in gear, because 3 runs on 3 hits in the first inning and nothing except 1 hit since. And I tell you, the Angels, and especially in this park where the ball carries well, and they've got some guys that can hit home runs. Not a good place that you can relax, especially. I mean, the A's were very close to being 2 down if Albert Pujols had not got under his ball to hit to left field.
Well, we know how many home runs the A's have hit this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've hit a ton. I can give you the exact number, 156. Angels, 159.
Yeah.
The Angels have hit more home runs than the A's this year.
But I've always said, I mean, this is a great park. I mean, it's been actually too hot for down here, but you talk about coming to the park and loving to play, and I've said it many times, if you play for the Angels, you have this weather all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is perfect.
Good place to play.
Yeah, and the ball carries well. I mean, just the home runs that have been hit tonight, not to say they wouldn't have gone out other places, but don't have to worry about marine layer.
Piscotty swings and misses, so that is the 3rd strikeout for Felix Pena. Hey, NBC Sports California has compiled the A's top 50 most memorable moments in Oakland. Now we want the fans to pick the most memorable moment. Tonight, the 2012 AL West clinch on the last day of the season versus the Texas Rangers. Going up against Marco Scudero's bases clearing double in Game 3 of the 2006 ALDS against Minnesota. Chalk line, Ray. Chalk line.
Hanging, and he squats at second after
Fair
clearing
ball
the
by
bases.
4 to 6 inches.
Yeah.
So fans can vote through our A's Twitter poll. The play that wins advances to face the next memorable moment.
Guys, something else to remember about the home runs here. This is the first year that right field has been lowered. That yellow line out in right field, that is now the home run line. It used to be you have to hit it into the stands above right field there for that to be a home run. Not the case anymore. Above the yellow line, right onto the out-of-town scoreboards, you're good to go.
Absolutely. That right field wall used to be 18 feet high. Now it's 8. And there's no question that has given more home runs to the offense, whether it be the Angels or the visiting team. But it's a very long area that the fence has dropped down 10 feet. So absolutely. Canna called out on strikes.
Well, here's a different pitcher from the first inning for sure. And you get in the call on the high fastball inside.
Yeah, maybe new life for Felix Pena.
Yeah, that's what a 2-run home run making a 1-run game will do for you.
And a breaking ball for a strike.
When you can see the approval from Briseño behind the dish, starting to get that breaking ball over. He was struggling early with that pitch, bouncing it egregiously. And now it seemed to get back into it. And here again, 1-1 counts as well. These are huge for him. In 1-1 counts, opponents are hitting 500. 1-2 counts. If he's able to get it there, they're hitting under 200.
Driven to right, Calhoun hustling in. He's got it. That's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Felix Pena. Bottom of the 4th coming up. looking right into center field. Parking lot from Angel Stadium. So Brett Anderson will go to work against Simmons, Marte, and Bershano. Good first pitch strike. The error that Simmons reached on in the second inning was made by Chapman. Didn't hurt. Simmons was erased on a double play on the very next batter.
Simmons having another good year for the Halos.
Yeah, the Angels are raving about him, huh? And we know how good he is defensively, and he gets actually a little bit better every year, but having a really nice year offensively, hitting over 300.
Well, that's the thing. You start to take those steps in progression offensively, and they start to catch up with what you do defensively.
And we were telling everybody how good Simmons was. See, we were trying to jinx him because we want to help out Brett Anderson if we can. So that's out number one. Here's our Coors Light refreshing finish. Mike fires on Wednesday, his A's debut against the Dodgers. He was pretty good. 8 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. 78 pitches thrown. Mike fires.
Perfect for 12 batters. First hit, first base runner, home run by Grandal.
Piscotty goes into a slide and makes a nice play. So out number 2.
Piscotty too hot. He put the radar on him. Tracking. This ball starts to sink and dive. Scotty off to his right side. Clears himself, goes into the slide. Nice little pop up. How you doing?
So Dallas, you see that replay and you see Piscotty catch the ball off to his left side.
Right.
Why does a guy do that when he goes into a slide?
Well, there could be a couple different reasons why. Number one, it might be in an effort to get his line of sight out of the light standards. That's always an issue, or can be an issue at this time of night. We talk a lot about guys going into that position trying to avoid injury. But again, it's a heck of a lot easier to catch that ball as you're charging off to one side or the other, as opposed to directly in front of you, forcing you to either make a decision to lay out forward with your glove up or down. There's a lot going into that thought process. So if you have the ability to create body position like Piscotty did, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, you see a lot of the real good outfielders when they dive, even if they dive not slide but dive head first, they will still kind of catch the ball off to the side of their head. You know, obviously it's hard to catch the ball out in front of you if you're diving. Count remains 0-2 to Jose Bershano, who singled and scored in the 3rd.
This is 2 or 3 times now that Bershano has called for time and sort of disrupted the timing of Brett Anderson.
And a quick inning for Brett Anderson with a little help from the defense and a couple of strikeouts.
$15 bar Rapid Day Deal Day offers are available on Monday and Wednesday, or grab a $20 lower level ticket on Tuesday at athletics.com/town. Help us defend the town. Have your seats today. Those are great ticket prices, especially for those areas. Look at the standings, the way they are, and the way the Mariners are in Houston. It could be a bunched up race next week.
That's a good call because the Mariners won tonight.
A's have to continue to win, and there's 2 more games in Houston between the Mariners and the Astros, and the Mariners to the Coliseum, and that's the way it stands now.
Yeah, that is
the division.
Updated.
Yeah. That's the division.
Seattle 5, Houston 2. Mike Leake got the win. Garrett Cole took the loss.
And the thought was, go ahead and let those 2 teams beat up on each other if the Oakland A's can continue to play a winning brand of baseball.
That's right. As long as you win, you'll pick up ground on somebody.
Yep.
Fletcher's going to throw out Lucroy for the first out here in the 5th inning. So for the A's, on June 15th, 34-36. They had just lost the first game of a 3-game series to these Angels at the Coliseum. And they won the next 2 and have been rolling ever since, sitting at 68-47 now. See, 4 games back in the AL West. And again, that number includes the Astros loss. And they lead the Mariners by 2 games for that second wild card spot. That game tonight in Houston, it was tied 2-2 in the 8th inning, but Nelson Cruz, a bases loaded double, and that was the difference in the game. So give the Mariners some credit. They beat Verlander last night. They beat Garrett Cole tonight.
Got Verlander for 6 in the first 2 innings last night, which is unusual. And who knows, maybe McCullers going on the DL, their only starter to finally miss a start. Other 4 outstanding.
Did you see, I was reading about McCullers today. Dallas, you're chuckling already. McCullers, of course, on the disabled list with the forearm elbow strain. And the Astros have said that the injury occurred while he was batting.
Yep.
He's a left-handed batter. So
what a shock.
So his front arm would be his right arm. But that's what the Astros have said.
Well,
not McCullers, but the Astros, I guess their medical people said it was because of his hitting.
Yeah, and the reason I sort of chuckle is not to make light of the situation at all, but I think about a guy over here in Anaheim named Shohei Ohtani.
That's right.
Right-handed pitcher, likes the split, likes the slider, also a left-handed batter. He'll be off the mound. He's been throwing bullpens. He's also been getting ABs. So it just kind of leaves me wondering.
Yeah.
Kind of leaves me wondering. You've got a really good feel and a really good idea of where and how Shohei Ohtani, when healthy, what role he can play, how he can fit into your club. And with the Angels right now essentially playing for pride and not much more, you wonder if the eye towards the future doesn't see Shohei Ohtani start to reel in those ABs, just in anticipation of him getting on the mound. What is the end game?
Well, the interesting thing, the Angels seem to say that his hitting did not affect his arm.
Right.
And
he's been continued to hit well.
Right, and the fact that whenever he originally was injured, they were talking maybe Tommy John. He's gone through all the other stuff that Garrett Richards went through, ultimately going to the Tommy John. But they were saying that his hitting, and that's what I thought, just like with Chad Pinder, could not swing because the stitches in his elbow didn't want to pop him out. Well, evidently what the Angels were saying, that Ohtani swinging was not going to affect it. But who knows? One says yes, and the Astros, and these guys saying no. But McCullers isn't a hitter, though. He's strictly a pitcher.
Outside 3-1, but how can you not be looking forward to that next homestand, though? Seattle, Houston, and Texas. 9-game homestand. And you're right. What will the standings look like a week from Sunday? That was a strike. Chapman can't believe it.
It's a high curve that was called a strike, and Chapman asking for Siegel, and this is one that comes down just a little bit late. That's not even in the box, in the front of the box.
Chapman with a mighty cut, and I mean mighty cut. Been a good night so far. Chapman a homer in the first, a double in the third.
Well, he waits so well as he did in the first inning. The high fastball that was running in, but that's a similar curveball that was called a strike that he took.
Popped up, and it's headed into the booth. 2 down from us. (7,997 home runs in Oakland A's history. Who's going to hit 8,000? Shot to right, but right at Calhoun. So another good at bat by Chapman, but that's 7 in a row retired by Felix Pena. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Also available to listen live and as a podcast on NBCSportsBayArea.com. First pitch, fair ball. Chapman with a nice play. That was on Caleb Howard. Made that look quite easy, actually.
This is about as easy as it gets. Just a cool cucumber over there at the hot corner. He hears it. Fair. He knows he's got the rifle in the back pocket. Take a look at it. Gets around it off the right foot. Just an absolute missile over there to Ole. It's become an old hat.
All the more reason early in the game to step back a couple, because if he could throw like that off the back foot, a lot of guys would have to stop, take a little crow hop, or not make as strong a throw.
And he grabs that one. Kind of a half dive to his left. And here comes Cole Calhoun. Dallas, take it away.
Well, we were talking about the adjustments that Cole Calhoun has made, especially since the DL stint. You see on the left, this is earlier this year, a lot more upright, hands up, a lot more vertical. On the right-hand side, you can see him crouched down in his lower half, more in his stance. And this is a byproduct of Cole Calhoun over the offseason, sort of tinkering with some things, trying to join that launch angle revolution, but he very openly and honestly admitted that he might not have had all of the tools and a complete understanding necessary to make that adjustment.
And that one is drilled toward left center field. Martini, what a play by Nick Martini. Ranging far into left center field on the backhand, and that is 7 in a row retired by Brett Anderson. have settled in nicely.
Well, the one for the A's is settled in may be finished, because I think that new bullpen that we have seen improved even better and more tonight may be starting to loose. We're told that it's Luke Trevino thrown in the A's bullpen. And if Luke Trevino gets up, it's not getting some work in.
So Lowry, Davis, and Olsen. So there's Trevino, and you may be right, Ray. Why else would he be up?
Exactly. He's not. And one thing, especially this time of the year, if somebody gets up, he usually comes in. They do not want to waste the bullets by having somebody get up just in case, and especially Brett Anderson had a 4-pitch 5th inning. 74 pitches in his last start. Got him for 63 tonight. 5 innings, 7 innings.
That one's hit well. Left center field. Young near the wall, and Young tracks it down. 1 away. Just kind of hung up there.
Well, that's the same that Matt Chapman's, but he was playing it differently on this one. See where he's playing Jed Lowry's shading in that direction. So for Young with his speed, the ball slicing away, able to get to it easily. Jed Lowry couldn't believe, evidently hit it quite well. He also thought it was hit quite well, but was caught by Eric Young Jr. Looks like Daddy.
And here's Chris Davis. And Davis goes after the first pitch. He got a hanger, and he just missed it. Hampton's got it. So 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Hey, there's Chef Rodney. Fernando Rodney, acquired by the A's yesterday from the Twins. I thought Billy Beane had a great comment. He was asked, well, okay, you got a deep bullpen. Why another guy? Why Fernando Rodney? He said, hey, we're in the business of collecting quality players.
Sure.
And Fernando Rodney is a quality player.
Yep.
325 career saves.
But he's talking to 2 guys, Petit and Familia. And he may be looking at 7th, 8th, and maybe.
But even that right there, like that shot right there, Ray. I mean, Fernando Rodney's been an A for 5 innings. Yeah. And he's sitting there. And you can tell they're talking about pitching.
Sure.
I mean, why wouldn't you listen to the guy, right?
Yeah.
And 2 guys who are pretty darn good in their own right, Petit and Familia.
I think the biggest thing is accepting his role, because it is a different role than where he has been throughout his career. I mean, if you have 325 saves, as Dallas said earlier, you're the back end. You're the guy saving the game.
Yep.
And now that's not the case, because when Familia came here, he was told Trinan's a closer. He knew that. And if it's accepted by Fernando Rodney, which I'm sure it is, and he had to be told coming here that that was going to be the case.
Well, to Billy's point, what they've done is they've identified a guy who's having another great year. And I think specifically when you think about Fernando Rodney, you think about the changeup. And the changeup this year is as good as it's ever been. Opponent's batting average 143 on the changeup. That's the best of his career.
Speaking of going to the bullpen, here comes Mike Scioscia. So 5 2/3 innings for Pena, 86 pitches, and it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
A hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So 3-2 A's lead. The A's got a base runner with 2 outs. So Mike Scioscia replaces Felix Pena with Jim Johnson. 86 pitches for Pena. So rough first inning, but he settled down nicely after that. And here is the veteran Johnson. 3-2, 3.20 ERA.
Sinker and a great curveball. Right over the top dart throw.
Calhoun's going to hustle over, but it's into the seats. Jim Johnson spent some time on the disabled list. He missed 32 games, had a lumbar strain. So he came back on the 22nd of July from that. Pena was not happy about being taken out of the game. The breaking ball.
Usually they're not happy because he's on the losing end of a score right now, and he probably felt if he can get through one more out. But if he had not given up the hit to Olsen, not fallen behind 3-1, he may have had the opportunity for his club to come back. I wouldn't argue with that man. Mike Scioscia's done it for 19 years consecutively.
Off the plate. 1-2 the count.
And the thing you have to like about Mike Scioscia and anybody playing, I mean, as the old saying goes, you play your best against a team that's contending. And while the Angels are not eliminated, they're going to play hard anyway. Right down to the wire. And if the 3 games in late September mean anything that the A's play against the Angels, it's not going to be easy.
Howard's throw a little off at second base, but Fletcher stays with it. Side retired. Bottom of the 6th coming up.
Well, how about Brett Anderson as he's making his start tonight on 7 days basically, as he was bypassed because of the off day and Mike fires. But tonight a good job for Brett Anderson. Just made really one mistake. It was a hanging curveball. Calhoun, so he finishes with a home run allowed, 63 pitches. Finished the 5th inning with a very quick 4-pitch inning. 3 very good defensive plays, so he heads to the clubhouse. And the A's bullpen takes over.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and repair expert. So, Lou Trevino, he of the 8-1 record, 1.29 ERA. And he faces Fletcher, Upton, and Pujols. So, I mean, listen, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, Ray, with Anderson. Hey, he's pitching okay. 63 pitches. I think a lot of this has to do with maybe Bob Melvin not wanting Upton and Pujols and maybe Simmons, good right-handed hitters, seeing Anderson for a third time.
No, you're right. You're right. And that's part of managing and being a pitching coach and being able to know these situations. But, you know, as the old saying goes, a save can occur early in the game.
Absolutely.
And this could be this part right here. And if you'd like to see that Trevino have a good inning, then 7th, 8th, this same part of the lineup could come up for Trinan if the A's have the lead. And that's, to your point, a very good one because of the part of the lineup.
Chapman grabs it, fair ball. His throw across the diamond, and it just could not quite get Fletcher as the ball was in the dirt.
And Chapman wondering about whether it's a fair ball or not.
Yeah, tough to read, especially from my angle down here. Not sure if it did make its way across the back. But Chapman, the best thing about this entire play is he doesn't umpire. He makes the play and lets the umpire call it as he sees it. But his initial instinct, grab it, get rid of it. How it's supposed to be done.
And let's see how close Olsen was to picking it. And you know what? If he picks that, he's out.
Yeah. And he almost got it to him in the air.
So here's Upton, leadoff single. Upton hits a high fly ball left field. Martini's going back. Martini's near the wall. Gone. Number 24 for Upton, and that one hurts. Angels lead 4-3.
And from Lou Trevino, an ambush on a first pitch fastball that did not have the movement that he's accustomed to seeing. And Upton, he's just a very good hitter. And back-to-back blown saves for Lou Trevino, and it's not like he's blown them in the 9th inning. This one occurring in the 6th, and had one against the Dodgers on Wednesday. Both of them with the 1-run lead. The other one on Wednesday tied it. This one put the Angels ahead.
And Pujols lines one to left for a hit. 3 straight hits.
And you notice the 3 consecutive pitches, all 3 pitches, not exceptional, great pitches.
97, 98, if it's not located, can be an issue for the pitcher. Here 98 with slide arm side run creeping in on the hands of Pujols. Pujols fairly decent at what he does. Been doing it a while. He's able to stay inside, take that 97 to left.
So congratulations to Albert Pujols with that hit. It was his 1,000th hit with the Angels. So in Major League history, those are the players that have had 1,000 hits in both the American League and the National League. That's a very interesting note, and some terrific players on there, including Albert Pujols. So his 1,000th career hit with the Angels. Still nobody out. Here's Andrelton Simmons.
Well, unfortunately, Lou Trevino, while he's throwing hard, he's not throwing the sinker that we've been accustomed to seeing and getting the ball down. You elevate, those are pitches to hit, and the Angels are showing they're hitting them. And probably the first one is the biggest one because it looked like it may be foul or going foul and end up being an infield hit. So 3 consecutive pitches and 3 hits.
Now 2-0 to Simmons. Marte to follow after Marte, Bersheno. Lined toward Simeon, who scoops it, and that's a double play. So a very hard hit ball, and could not ask for a better double play ball than that. Hard smash that Simeon grabbed. So 6-4-3 double play. So just like that, 2 outs here in the 6th.
You know why Pena was upset when he was taken out.
That's true. can't get a loss, I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. Hayes will see a steady diet of relievers. Obviously, Johnson got the out and probably finished for the night. But the A's did not add on after the 3 in the first inning. And that's something that we've talked about, where you score early and need to score often. And unfortunately, Pena settled down, did not allow the A's to score any additional runs.
Marte waves at that pitch. 1-1 the count. Cam Bedrosian starting to throw. A little bit inside. We should tell you the Yankees lost tonight. The Rangers beat the Yankees 12-7. Beltre hit a home run, his 469. Ronald Guzman, the big rookie left-handed first baseman, hit 3 home runs tonight. So a whole bunch of runs scored tonight. And that helps out the A's a little bit. Of course, the A's chasing the Yankees for that #1 wild card spot.
I think the score posted earlier with the that's the wild card, but the posting earlier of the division, I think anybody that has a chance, and the A's can control because of the number of games they have remaining. But division and guaranteed 5-game division series versus the wild card, and you hope you get the 5.
Well, not everybody agrees with it, but I think the wild card game and the 2 wild card, I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether it's fair or not, well,
that's right.
You know what? There's a response to that. Win the division.
That's right.
Simeon charges. He's got it. Throws. And that'll do it. But a big home run for the Angels. Justin Upton, a 2-run shot. 7th inning coming up. It's now 4-3.
That comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Angels 4, A's 3, 7th inning. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and repair experts. And it's Cam Bedrosian. So Jim Johnson got the final out of the 6th inning. And that's his night's work. And now it's on to reliever number 2. It's Bedrosian. Bedrosian will face Canna, Simeon, and Lucroy. 10, a couple of strikeouts tonight. A couple of interesting reliever notes coming out of Major League Baseball. How about Felix Hernandez headed to the bullpen? That was the speculation a couple days ago. In fact, we talked about it. Dallas, you talked a lot about it. At some point, do the Mariners make that move? And they did.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of assessing where you're at right now, where ultimately you'd like to get, and what sort of impact Felix is going to have on that process. And I think if you sit back and ask yourself today, if you are in a 5-game series, does Felix Hernandez get the ball? And I believe the answer to be no. And then you go one step further and ask yourself.
Canna's going to drop a single into center field. Continue on, Dallas.
You ask yourself if that's the case and he's not in the starting rotation from a 5-game set. We're trying to get there now. We are now tasked with making up ground. So every outing is as important as that one he may make in a division series. And so the move is made. Felix to the bullpen.
There's Fernando Rodney starting to throw. Ray, were you surprised by that at all?
Not really. Not the way he's been pitching. And I mean, they still have a lot of money invested, and a great career. And he'd love to get to postseason. I don't think he's going to object to any move that they make that if it helps the Mariners get to some place that Felix has never been. And he's done everything individually, but as you all know, that if you have a chance to get to postseason and do something special.
And it's unfortunate because even as a part of the AL West, knowing that a trip to the postseason for Felix could mean a trip home early for the Oakland A's, as a baseball fan, you would love to have seen King Felix in his prime on the biggest and brightest stage.
Yeah. This is a baseball story. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a significant move. I mean, but his ERA is 5.73.
But you know the one thing, he as a free agent, what, 13, 14, he could have left. And he said, hey, I'm committed to Seattle. I'm committed to bringing a championship to the city, something that he had never experienced. And he could have, and everybody speculated that he'd be a Yankee after that contract expired before this one was extended.
Simeon drives on the right field. Calhoun hustling back, still going back, now turns around, spins around a little bit, and makes the catch. Marcus put a pretty good charge into that one, but just not quite enough, and Calhoun was able to make the play.
Tell you, off the sound of the bat, if you just close your eyes and listen, I think it's going to travel a lot farther than it did. I think the Trojan thought it was something a little bit more than a fly ball to right field. Calhoun had him played perfectly. The Golden Glove were able to bring it in, but the sound alone thought it would be more.
Well, that's out number one. Here's Jonathan Lucroy. Well, the other significant reliever story is Kenley Jansen from the Dodgers, who we just saw. The Dodgers went to Colorado. Kenley Jansen experienced an irregular heartbeat. He was sent back to Los Angeles, and it sounds like he's going to be out dealing with that for at least a month.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is.
And you wonder if the altitude had anything to do with that, and just getting away from the baseball aspect of it for a minute, you almost are appreciative of something like that, something that's not been on the radar for the Dodgers or for Kenley Jansen, just as far as quality of life is concerned. So you hope he gets that taken care of. But for the baseball aspect of it, think about the pressure on that bullpen now.
Or the pressure on the front office to go get somebody.
right, because that bullpen has performed well.
Yeah.
And it's because you have a guy like Kenley that everybody in that bullpen can rely on.
That's right.
And when you are handed the ball in the 6th inning and you hand it over to the 7th and 8th inning respectively, your job is to get it to one man and one man only. And now he is not there at the moment, so everybody has to shoulder a little more than they did the day before.
Lucroy grounds it to second, and that's going to be a double play. 4-6-3 double play, side retired. We have reached the 7th inning stretch from the Big A. Angels 4, A's 3.
A's family. General admission access to every single 2019 regular season home game. A plan of reserved seat tickets. 50% off concessions, 25% off merchandise, and parking discounts. First opportunity to purchase 2018 postseason tickets. You can learn more at athletics.com/2019 today. A's access every game your way. Athletics.com/2019. A lot of people already have taken advantage of that great opportunity for 2019, and we hope many more do.
Well, I like the idea that you can get 2018 postseason.
That's right.
Access. Speaking of A's access.
That's right.
All right, we get our first look at Fernando Rodney. Did we ever think he would be in the green and gold of the Athletics? Probably not, but you just never know.
You think he ever thought he'd be coming in the 7th inning? And especially to the round of boos from the hometown crowd. Remember, he pitched here. And he also pitched against him one this game. But the A's are hoping that all that is to the side and he can help them get to the magic of October baseball.
Fernando Rodney, 41 years old. So when A's acquired Rodney, obviously you start looking at the statistics and you see all the career numbers for Fernando Rodney. One thing that jumped out at me, including this year, the last 3 years, he has averaged over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is pretty significant because that tells me that even at the age of 41, he still has good stuff.
Yeah.
He still throws very hard. He's got the great changeup, but you average over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's pretty good. And he's done it now 3 years in a row.
Well, to that point, Kai, 10.31 Ks per 9. That's the 3rd highest of his career.
There you go.
His strand rate, 80%, meaning how many guys he leaves on base. 80%, that's the 3rd highest of his career. You mentioned the changeup, throwing that as good as he has over the course of his entire career. I mentioned the batting average against the changeup, 143, high water mark. 45.7% strikeout rate on that. That's the 2nd highest of his career. So what the A's have identified is they've got a ton of velocity, a ton of swing and miss down in that bullpen. With Rodney, you get a little bit of the same, but some swing and miss as well.
You know what else I realized? He signed that contract with the Minnesota Twins last year, right? The contract has a club option for 2019. Now, we don't know what the A's feel about that, but no pun intended, but it is an option.
That's right.
Right? I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
It's not one of those options where you go to AAA.
No, I mean, it's the A's can decide, hey,
that's right.
maybe we want Fernando Rodney next year. Maybe not. Club option is for $4.5 million if you're into that kind of thing.
And Jonathan Lucroy experienced the wrath of the Cleveland Indians fans when he played there. As he turned down the option of going to the Cleveland Indians, he decided to go to the Rangers. And Fernando Rodney, who you could hear somebody in the headset saying, Fernando. So, he's got some fans here or people who remember him.
That one was driven to center, right at Cannon. So Bushino lines out to center field. Well, when you look at Fernando Rodney, he had 2 years here, 2010 and 2011 with the Angels. And they were not great years. His ERA was 4.24, and then in 2011, it was 4.50. He really struggled that year. He only had 3 saves. He really wasn't the closer. And I think a lot of people in baseball said, you know what, he's had a pretty good career, but I don't think so. Well, he goes to Tampa Bay, and in 2012, he saves 50 games. And all of a sudden, his career was back on track. and he's been really good since then.
Is that the year he had a .60 ERA?
Yes, good call. It was 2012. 50 saves and a .60 ERA.
Got his Eckersley line.
He had 51 saves with Seattle in 2014, so he has 250 save seasons in his career.
Gee, that's 101 arrows, man.
That's a lot of arrows.
I wonder where those
How
landed.
many can that little arrow holder in the bag hold?
To hold 101, he must have to replenish the supply every once in a while.
Yeah, he said the arrow is only for saves.
Yeah.
He's not going to pull it out if he gets through the bottom of the seventh. He said he may have something new for the A's. We'll see.
How about just outs?
Take some outs.
Just nothing but outs.
That's it. That's the changeup. 80 miles an hour. Dallas, we were sitting with Bob Cluck, right? Former A's pitching coach, and he was talking about Fernando Rodney at lunch today or at dinner, and he was saying he still throws very hard, and that changeup, he kind of jams back in his hand, maybe a little bit deeper than most guys throw the changeup. Was that kind of what you were getting from our conversation?
Well, actually, I've had the opportunity to talk to Fernando Rodney prior to him coming over to Oakland. He good friends with Santiago Casilla, so I had the opportunity to sort of be introduced and meet Fernando Rodney, talk to him a little bit, and we talked about the changeup, and we sort of just, you know, compared and contrasted notes, showing grips and stuff, and I remember him sort of talking about getting it deeper into his hand, and he would just say, tirala, which translation means throw it, just throw it. And that was kind of my approach to the pitch as well. So it was really interesting to have that kind of conversation with a guy who has the ability to throw it at 95, 98 at the time, 100, and him tell me sort of the same thing. Fastball arm speed, fastball hand speed, and just throw it. Tirala.
Well, that's what Bob was talking about as well, Bob Cluck, about that the arm speed is perfect.
And it's just really about the grip, because if you grip it with all your fingers or the back of your palm or a circle change, the key is the arm speed. You throw it and you cannot. I think when Roger Craig originally taught the splitter, he said the farther you have your fingers spread, you know, there's your split.
Sure.
The closer they're together, you're going to throw a fastball, or it's going to be thrown harder.
I guess basically what we're saying, Dallas, is you got to have the same whip in your arm, right? You can't slow your arm down.
And that's what the hitters are picking up, is arm speed. And anytime, I mean, they are so good, Kike. These guys are so good. Any deviation from the regular delivery, and they can pick it up instantaneously. And it's almost they can pick it up, wonder about what they're going to buy at their grocery store for dinner, and then deliver a big blow. That's how good they are. So if you can continue to make it look like something it's not, you've got a better chance of surviving.
And there it was. And that's a swinging strikeout. So a good first inning for Fernando Rodney with the Athletics. A line out, a ground out, and a strikeout, and we're headed to the eighth. 4-3 Angels lead top of the 8th inning. This was the pregame ceremony for the new Hall of Famer Vladimir Guerrero. 16 big league seasons, Expos, Angels, Rangers, and Orioles. And he was something special. Vladimir Guerrero had very good seasons here. He won a Most Valuable Player award here in 2004.
That's the owner, Artie Moreno, putting on the number 27 jersey to catch the ceremonial first pitch from the newest member of the Hall of Fame. The first ever Angels to go in to Cooperstown with an Angels logo on the plaque. And there's the numbers. 9-time All-Star. Of course, started with the Expos and almost was apologetic to the Expos fans for not going in as an Expo. Gary Carter, Tim Raines. But it was Artie Moreno who brought him here in 2004 when he was the MVP. 449 career home runs. And a tremendous outfielder to go with his offense.
And that's what you do, Ray. When you sign a big free agent contract, win the MVP the first year.
That's right.
And that's what Vladimir Guerrero did. He was fun to watch. This is Justin Anderson coming on to pitch the 8th inning.
Not a fun AB, old Vladimir.
Well, the thing that amazed me is how everybody pitched him inside and he just kept pounding them. I mean, you pitch him inside, he'd take the ball off his chin and hit it out.
What did you do with him, Dallas?
I tried not to throw him a strike. I tried. I mean, he was one of the what I call, or how I refer to guys who are swing happy. I call them 0-2 book 'em guys, meaning as soon as they step up to the plate, the count is already 0-2 in my book, and I'm going to make them hit my pitch at some point during the AB. I don't want to give in, because if I do, there's a good chance I get hurt.
Yeah, he frustrated a lot of pitchers when they think they would make a good pitch, and he would hit it out of the ballpark or hit a line drive somewhere.
Pedro Martinez and on Marichal, Dominican-born pitchers in the Hall of Fame. Vladimir Guerrero, the first position player to enter Cooperstown. First Angels, so a lot of firsts for him, and joined a pretty good group on the field tonight.
Good fastball, and Nick Martini strikes out. Check out Bad Vlad is what they called him.
He was bad. His son is bad as well with the Blue Jays. How about that? There's your ball that bounced and happens to be a base hit. Magic 1.
He was a big guy, but
he was.
Covered a lot of ground in the outfield.
Still big, and how about this arm? Check this out.
Well, and the strides, just monstrous strides out there in the outfield of Clydesdale on the loose.
Well, you notice that 27, coincidentally, on the retirement, or at least the honoring of Vladimir Guerrero. The other guy wearing number 27, who will continue to wear it, number 27, Mike Trout. And he'll continue to wear it. And Vladimir Guerrero said it best. He said, couldn't ask for a better guy to represent that number 27.
That's true.
And Mike Trout, he'll go to Cooperstown as well eventually, 5 years after he retires.
It's comical to believe that Mike Trout is already better than half the men that are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right.
0-2 to Matt Chapman. High fastball got him. 98 miles an hour. So impressive high octane from Justin Anderson.
Basically a two-pitch pitcher, a 3 if you add the sinker slider or sinker fastball. But high octane fastball. He's got a slider as well that he threw a couple of pitches to Chapman to start the at-bat, then finished him off with a high fastball.
Anderson, 25 years old, from Houston. Draft choice of the Angels, 14th round back in 2014. Like a lot of guys, started his minor league career as a starter, switched to the bullpen last year, and now pitching out of the bullpen in the big leagues.
He's had a former catcher turned pitcher, and Chris Hatcher, who was designated for assignment to allow room for Fernando Rodney to join the club. So we wish Chris Hatcher the best.
And now 2-1 to Jed Lowry, who singled, scored in the first inning, and a fly ball in the left field and a fly ball in the center field. Sean Kelly and Jerry Familia warming up. Missed again.
I just think you're talking about Sean Manaea is the only starter from the original starting rotation. Now we're having to start look at the bullpen. How many guys originally on the roster to start the season?
Chris Hatcher was, I mean, last year Chris Hatcher, when the A's acquired him, he pitched well and he was the 8th inning guy.
Exactly. Yep. Sean Manaea, Fires sitting next to him, so there's a newcomer in Fires. Anderson, Cahill, Jackson.
We always chuckle, but Ray, if I'm sitting next to you and I'm in spring training and I said, hey, we're going to have a camera shot and Mike Fires and Fernando Rodney are going to have A's hats on.
And talking to Sean Manaea.
And Familia's in the bullpen, and
Kelly.
Edwin Jackson is just to the left of Manaea. You would have said, what? I think you're crazy. But that's what happens.
Well, actually, that's a couple of guys pitched a no-hitter. Fires and Manaea talking, maybe talking about what it takes.
And Jackson.
Jackson also.
Edwin as well, yeah.
No-hit corner. And he went around. Lowry could not hold up. So Justin Anderson strikes out the side in the top of the 8th inning. 4-3 Angels as we head to the bottom of the 8th. All right, here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-6-1 for the A's, 4-7-0 for the Angels. So the A's got 3 in the first, but they have not had a whole lot of offense since then. Brett Anderson goes 5, Felix Pena 5 2/3, and the A's got 2 home runs in the first inning, Chapman and Davis. But for the Angels, a pair of 2-run homers, Calhoun and Upton, and that's the scoring in the game so far. So all the runs in the game, home runs.
Yep.
So bottom of the 8th inning, new pitcher is Sean Kelly. Second appearance for Kelly with the Athletics. And the pitch to Calhoun is inside. Hey, so our good friend Juan Dorado, who's our stats man in the booth, just gave us the list of the A's bullpen on opening day. You ready? Before that, we got this great note on Fernando Rodney. Fernando Rodney's A's debut in the 7th inning. He becomes the 31st player to pitch for the A's this year. That is a franchise record. 31st pitch.
That's not a good record. Not a record you want to establish.
That's amazing.
I'd rather hear about the bullpen to start the season.
That is amazing.
Well, you know, there's a couple ways to look at that. The 31, I mean, that's you think about a number of guys who can come up and get it done or have come up and get it done to some point. And sure, there's been some stumbles, and that's why you see the shuffle. But if you think about the 13 men that have started for the Oakland A's, adding Fiers to that list, only 2 behind the Tampa Bay Rays, who have had 15 guys start ball games.
Yeah, that situation's a little different. Kelly juggles, and then he throws to get him.
You know, everything's fine here until he jabbed at it with his glove and it dropped out. How about using hand and glove to catch? Zap. I mean, when you go down, pitchers' gloves are big because they want to hide the ball. When you jab down and it gets the webbing, scoop it in with the bare hand, pick it up, throw. The old PFP is just not knowing how hard. Go ahead now. Let's talk about all those pitchers.
Well, it just, and I think as we start to see the evolution of the game, we understand that the arms down in AAA, the 10-day disabled list, these are all little things, little mechanisms, in my opinion, that allow a big league club to get a really good look at the arms that they could use as reinforcements. So you've got your 7 or 8 guys in the bullpen, but there's more.
Little pop-up. Lowry's got it. Side. Retired. 9th inning coming up. Last shot for the A's. See if they can pull it off. They'll have Davis, Olsen, and Piscotty. Justin Anderson, who struck out the side in the 8th inning, stays out there. And his first pitch to Chris Davis is low. Davis with a homer in the 1st. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd, and he had a fly ball to left field in the 6th inning. Have had so much magic in the late innings. It's hard not to expect something exciting to happen.
Well, as we have talked about, Kemp, it does not always happen, and you're going to run up against somebody that's good. And Anderson, and threw 15 pitches and striking out the side in the 8th inning, and Mike Scioscia said, let's just stay with it. Went back-to-back sliders to start the at-bat to Chris Davis, gets one for a strike, make it 3 in a row.
So he's thrown 3 very good breaking balls. So 1-2 the count. A's with 31 come from behind wins this year. That's 4th most in the major leagues. And of course, comeback wins, it could be early in the game. But if you're down and you take the lead and win the game, that's come from behind one. Another breaking ball, and Davis did not go. So 4 straight hard sliders.
I think he had a hanging breaking ball for a home run in the 1st inning.
You know how strong KD is. Holds up. Gets some help from Coop down at first base. Eric Cooper, the umpire, says nay, nay.
Here we go.
Long look in by Anderson. Slider just missed.
So if he's thrown 5, would he throw 6?
That's a good question.
This is a guy that throws 98 miles an hour, and you keep messing around, he's going to throw a heater. Just a question whether he's going to be close to the strike zone or not. Although if he's going with his catcher, maybe he's. Did it again.
And he did, and that one hung a little bit.
6 in a row.
Maybe not where he wanted it, but it worked as Davis strikes out. So 4 straight strikeouts for Justin Anderson, and that's not quite good enough to keep him in the game. So the lefty Jose Alvarez is going to come in to face Olson. But here's this.
Well, he kept shaking, and obviously he shook to this, and it was a hanger. He entered part of the plate, and Chris Davis, no contact. Kind of a hesitation to swing as the ball came inside. So Anderson will not get a chance for a save. It will be Alvarez. And Mike Scioscia's just figuring he's going to whoever he has to. The big blow was this one, a fastball first pitch hitting by Justin Upton, and he pulled the fastball for a 2-run home run. And it was clearly into the bullpen area of the Angels, and that's the difference. A Cole Calhoun 2-run home run, Justin Upton a 2-run home run, and 4-3 the Angels lead the 9th inning. Another pitching change, this time the lefty Alvarez to face Olson, and would a right-hander be up for Piscotty?
I say
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
It's like Parker, Blake Parker. Isn't it? Alvarez first pitch to Olson is cued foul. So Olson looks like he maybe hit that right off the end of the bat, maybe the cupped part of the bat.
was the big swing, and it was off the end of the bat. And
so he'll chalk up and get back to the batter's box with the count 0-1. Olson 1 for 3. He singled with 2 outs in the 6th inning. He was the last man that Felix Pena, the starter, faced. Not a full shift. Simmons sliding over to his left quite a bit. Jose Alvarez, pretty good season. ERA under 3. Been a workhorse, 59th appearance. Fletcher to first. Got it. Heck of a play by David Fletcher, the young second baseman. I did not think they had a chance to get Olson.
This is incredible play by Fletcher, ranging to his right, back up the middle. He's got to go backhand here, fielding it off the grass as well. No time to stick his foot in the ground and make a planted throw. He's got to make this on the run across his body, heading towards left field with Matt Olson, a guy who can move pretty well for a big fella from the left side to boot. So everything had to be absolutely perfect and on point, and it was from Fletcher.
So we got one more pitching change. It's going to be Blake Parker, the right-hander, coming in.
History, 20 straight wins propelled the A's to the playoffs. Join us as we celebrate the return of the streak team Saturday, August the 18th against the Astros, 105. First 15,000 fans receive a streak team t-shirt. It's presented by Cash Creek Casino Resort. Grab your 50th anniversary memory. For tickets, head to athletics.com.
Well, 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning, and it's Blake Parker, the right-hander, comes in to face Stephen Piscotty. 10 saves for Parker, a 3.31 ERA. First pitch is down and away to Piscotty. Well, the A's have been in these spots before.
Yep. Although if Piscotty gets 2-2, he may see a split instead of a fastball that he's been accustomed to hitting out. Goes through a lot of setup before he finally throws the pitch.
Same pitch, not close, 2-0. Pena, Johnson, Bedrosian, Anderson, Alvarez, Parker.
They try to sneak a fastball by him now. I don't think so. I mean, if he throws, well, if his catcher Pastime will call 6 sliders or least, Anderson goes with 6 to KD.
And it was a fastball, but this one misses outside, and now the count's 3-0.
Just overthrew it a little bit, a little far outside. Did not want to take a chance and give him something to pull. They are playing him to right field.
And that pitch is in for a strike, 91 miles an hour. So Piscotty watched that one, but he may not watch another one.
They wanted him to shake, and finally throws the fastball outside part of the plate again.
And grounded to second, scooped up by Fletcher, and that's the ball game. So the A's go quietly in the 9th inning, and game 1 of this 3-game series goes to the Angels, and the Angels have now won 4 in a row. A couple of 2-run homers for the Angels, and that was the difference in the game. Time of game tonight was 2 hours and 22 minutes. The attendance 42,722. Final score tonight from the Big A in Anaheim. The Angels defeat the Athletics 4-3. Time now for A's post-game live. Here is Brody Brazil.